Hi there. Welcome to the Next Level NP podcast, where we will be bridging the gap between traditional healthcare and the root cause whole person approach that so many women have been searching for. I'm Marcia Jones. I'm a nurse practitioner. I'm certified in functional medicine. And after 30 years in healthcare, I found myself on the other side of the exam table as a patient. It was then that I realized that too many women are being told they're fine while their bodies are telling them a very different story. I had to go out on a quest to find the answers for myself, which means that there's other practitioners out there just like me. This podcast brings together women with powerful stories and practitioners who are willing to ask deeper questions. And because your story matters, your symptoms matter, and healing begins when someone finally listens. So, one of the biggest lessons I have learned over my 30 years in healthcare and from treating thousands of women is that symptoms rarely exist in isolation. The women who are there in front of you, they're tired. Many have anxiety, they have brain fog, they have weight gain, they're not sleeping, they have low libido, their digestion is wrecked. They are having heavy periods, joint pain, mood changes. They aren't all separate problems, they're clues. And when you only treat one symptom at a time, you're missing the bigger picture. So I've taken all of these lessons that each of these are separate things and learning how to actually put the pieces together and analyze them from a broader perspective all into practice. I want to teach you that. That's part of what this podcast is about. I want to teach you as the practitioner and I want to teach the patient. When we all come together and we understand what is happening with our bodies as a woman, we're going to be able to transform and advance healthcare for women in a completely different way. Because we are right now living in one of the most exciting times in women's healthcare. I love it. Like I said, 30 years of experience. I've seen a lot of changes, and what I'm seeing right now truly lights me up. We're seeing incredible research that's emerging around hormones, metabolism, nutrition, longevity, peptides, your body composition, lifestyle medicine, personalized care. This is where we are headed, and it's about time. Hormone replacement therapy is finally being talked about in a more balanced and evidence-informed way. It's not being, presented with fear. Women are asking better questions. Providers are asking better questions. The conversation in the room is changing, and that is what is exciting. Women are no longer required to suffer. We have options that are available to them. Women and their healthcare in this new era is going to be off the charts, and it's about time. We don't need to suffer in silence any longer. We don't need to suck it up any longer. But at the same time that all these exciting things are happening, women, are having more access to health information, they're getting more educated. There's also more misinformation. Just open up your social media feed and you'll hear someone very confidently telling you that one supplement, one peptide, or one hormone, or one protocol is the answer. The problem isn't that people are talking about health or that they're putting this out there. The problem is that the algorithms on all these social media platforms are rewarding an influencer with confidence, not accuracy. So there's a lot of information out there that can actually harm your patient or you as a woman, if you're listening to this from that aspect, that can actually harm you instead of help you because they're not looking at the full picture. So us as providers, we have a responsibility to stay current in what's happening out there in social media land and what the influencers are talking about because your patients are going to come and ask you. And as patients, you deserve the right guidance that is thoughtful, individualized, and grounded in evidence. This podcast, this exists because I want to help bridge that gap. I want to take all of our education and our training as nurse practitioners and mesh that with all of the evolving information that is coming in. Because our education doesn't keep up. It's about 20 years behind usually before things start getting into the current healthcare world as we're learning it. But that's okay, because that's why we do things like this. This is why we do educational courses. This is why we have conferences. We have to stay up to date. And this isn't about criticizing healthcare. Okay. I don't ever want anyone to think that I'm criticizing healthcare. I want you to know it's about thinking outside the box, keeping an open mind, keeping up with the rapidly evolving information in the healthcare system. And frankly, our healthcare system is getting a shakeup right now. Not sure if you're paying attention, but a lot of things are getting a shakeup right now. And it's about time. The old, outdated, antiquated ways of thinking are going away. We are sitting on the forefront of a revolution in healthcare, specifically for women. Women are no longer going to be lumped inside of this broad range of lab values. It's one of the biggest things that I see is that you're told you're normal. I was told that. That's where my story evolved from. It's probably been 10 years ago now when I was the patient and I was told, but Marsha, everything's normal. I'm like, but I don't feel normal. There is nothing normal about what is happening to me. None of it made sense, but now it does. And that is where what people call alternative healthcare, holistic healthcare, whatever it's termed as, is being brought into the equation. We have to bring those two entities together. And as nurse practitioners, we sit in the best position to make that happen. Our patients trust us because we advocate for them. This is where I'm advocating for you as well as the woman who sits in front of me, as well as for myself, because things are changing. Things have to change. Women are biologically unique, and we need to understand that. They need to understand that. That is why I'm bringing women and practitioners together on this Next Level NP podcast. Because we need to help women understand their bodies. We need to bridge the gap between traditional and functional medicine. We need to give providers another way to think. We need to encourage better conversations between patients and providers. We need to empower women to advocate for themselves, because all too often they're sent out with just another prescription, or everything's normal, or eat less, move more. That's one of the worst things I've ever heard, especially in a perimenopausal women. They're left out there to find their own answers, to do the research, or to just wither away and withdraw. That's not fair. It's not fair. So we're also going to highlight that healing is more than a prescription. It's understanding the whole woman. And we're going to look at it from multiple different perspectives. You never know what you're going to hear on this podcast as we go through. Because I think women right now are more confused about their health than they've ever been. And it's not, again, because there isn't information. It's because there's too much of it. You know, one person says that hormones are going to cause cancer. Another one says everyone needs testosterone. TikTok is telling you the cortisol is ruining your life. Instagram says your gut is toxic. Facebook, well, tells you magnesium fixes everything. And somewhere in all of that, women are wondering, who do I trust? And then there's the practitioner on the other side getting blasted with questions about all these fads and supplements and miracle solutions. And they're just trying to fix the foundations. We're stuck in a system that has got antiquated wellness exams that don't cover anything. Your cholesterol, your blood sugar, okay, they're important. But when we're talking about women, you cannot treat a woman without talking about hormones. That's what we are. We're hormones. Yes, magnesium matters. Yes, cortisol matters. Yes, some women need testosterone. Hormones done wrong can cause cancer. We're going to have the real conversations on this podcast about all of these things. We're not holding back, okay? We're going to give real answers, and we're going to look at the big picture, because extremes are not helping anyone. And women want more. And we as NPs need to be ready to give it to them, and give it to them safely. We have the education to look at the big picture. We are not influencers. We are not health coaches. And I mean no disrespect to whatever you're doing out there in your world of coaching. We need coaches. But we also need practitioners who are ready to give the full scope of practice. We need nurse practitioners who are ready to talk about nutrition, to learn about nutrition, to talk about lifestyle, to talk about stress in a different way, to understand the story, to understand what a woman is actually going through, not lumping everything in 15-minute appointments. We're all fed up with 15-minute appointments. We're all fed up with protocols that don't answer questions. We're all fed up with providers, and yes, they're out there, that just say, what do you want me to do about it? Yeah, those are some of the women's stories that you're going to be hearing on this podcast. Things like that infuriate me. And if you know anything about me, if you listen to any of the other information that I've done and podcasts, and goodness sakes, I've got courses, I've got Facebook, I've got Instagram. If you've heard anything from me, you know that when I get angry, I take action. All right. There's a book coming out, Strong, Beautiful, Fearless, that tells about when I became discouraged with the whole healthcare system a few times in my career and decided to take action. And that's what has led me here. But again, I am absolutely not against traditional medicine, and I'm not trying to bash it. Traditional medicine saves lives every single day. And as providers, as nurse practitioners, we are sitting where we understand this. We can give that traditional care aspect, and we can integrate true wellness and lifestyle modification. We get to put it all together. We get to make the decision of, when do you need that neurologist? When do you need that procedure? And send them in whatever direction they need to go. We live in a beautiful place as a nurse practitioner. I love this profession. I love it. I live it. I've been a part of the system. I'm grateful for it. But I also recognize its limitations. Those 15-minute appointments, those protocols for populations instead of individuals, the healthcare model that doesn't leave enough time to ask, what happened before these symptoms started? How do all of these seemingly unrelated symptoms connect? These are the questions that we need to ask, and we don't really have time for. I personally have left the traditional brick and mortar practice and am now providing all virtual care for women specifically. It has been the most incredible shift, the most rewarding shift in what I do. And now I'm revamping this Next Level NP podcast and bringing it to you so that you can have the same kind of satisfaction if that's what you desire in your practice. Now, one of the things I'm most excited about is the incredible people that are going to be joining us on this podcast and in this journey. This isn't going to be like any podcast where one person has all the answers, okay? It's going to be a place where we learn from one another. You're going to hear from courageous women who have spent years searching for answers, women who have been told everything is normal, who felt dismissed or unheard, and who ultimately found hope, healing, or a new direction. Their stories aren't just inspiring, they're very educational. And I believe there's so much that we can learn when we truly listen to the patient experience. We have to be able to open our minds. You're also going to hear from nurse practitioners and physician assistants and dietitians and therapists and coaches and other professionals who are passionate about changing the future of women's healthcare. Some have embraced functional medicine. Others are integrating nutrition and lifestyle medicine, hormone optimization, or simply taking a personalized approach to helping women. We're going to hear the stories of the providers and practitioners as well. We're going to be hearing about some very innovative concepts in providing healthcare. One of my favorites, I'm really excited about bringing on, is a retreat style for women's health. Pulling women into a retreat for addictions, for weight loss, whatever it is, or just general health. If that woman is able to, take some time to pull out of life and go to a retreat, they're learning how to, incorporate meditation and nutrition and cooking all into one healthcare experience. Okay, so that gives you a little insight. We're also going to be doing business, entrepreneurship, and creating a practice that you love without burning out. Whatever it is you love, whatever avenue you are looking at, we're going to bring it all together. I told you, I've met thousands of women in my career, some of the most amazing humans that I want to bring into your world also so that you can learn. We'll have honest conversations about what's working, what's changing, where women's healthcare is headed. We're going to talk about hormones, menopause, labs, thyroid, metabolism, peptides, gut health, mental wellness, and the rapidly evolving science that is reshaping the way that we care for women. Every episode is going to bring a different perspective, but every conversation is going to come back to one purpose: helping women receive better care and helping providers feel better equipped to deliver it. I've talked to so many providers who want to learn these concepts because they're frustrated with the traditional system, but they aren't sure where to start. Many don't have the time or the resources to pursue another certification, and truly a functional medicine certification is $20,000 or more right now. So this space is designed to help make emerging concepts in women's health more approachable, to encourage that critical thinking, spark some conversations. It is not a replacement for formal education or individualized patient care. Okay, let's get that straight. If I told you that listening to my podcast or wherever you hear me was going to be the way to treat yourself, that would be hypocritical of me. You need a full evaluation. These are giving you the tools and the pieces and the aha moments. This is a place to learn, ask better questions, stay engaged. So I'm here to tell you, you don't have to leave the healthcare system to practice differently if you are a provider. You do not need another 20,000 chasing a certification, chasing another certification, chasing another certification, just to begin thinking more functionally. You can start by becoming just more curious, learning to recognize patterns, listening more closely to the patient's story for that one piece of information that makes the light bulb go off, and building on the incredible foundation that you already have. Do not dismiss your education. Do not ever let someone tell you that you need to give up being a nurse practitioner to be a coach. Okay, I'm sorry. That's one of those things that rubs me the wrong way. Look at labs from a woman-focused perspective. You can't treat women and not address hormones. We are hormones. This is how we begin to bridge the gap, not by choosing sides, but by bringing the best of traditional medicine, functional medicine, lifestyle medicine, and patient experience together to create something better. Can you see why I'm so excited about this? Why I'm so passionate about bringing this new era in with you? So whether you're listening as a woman searching for answers or a provider committed to delivering better care, I am so glad you're here. If you're looking for personalized functional medicine, I'd love to help you. You can learn more. You can schedule a consultation. We got ways. If you're a healthcare provider looking to grow your knowledge, build a thriving practice, or bridge the gap, there's ways. I've got all types of ways to work with me. MarshaJonesNP.com. That's the patient side. You can also find the NP stuff there. NextLevelNP.net. That's the practitioner side. It's not much patient stuff you can find there, but there's ways for everyone to work with me or to learn more. So if this episode is encouraging you, and maybe it's challenged you or made you think a little differently, please subscribe, leave a review, share it with someone who believes women's healthcare can be better. That's how we're going to change the world. That's how we're going to transform women's healthcare. Because I truly believe we're standing at the beginning of a new era, an era where women are heard, where providers feel empowered to keep learning, where science and compassion work together. We're bringing spirit into this also. Women, you have no idea what I have planned for you. So please don't miss an episode. Compassion is missing. We're going to stop chasing the symptoms and we're going to start to understand the woman that you are. That is how we make a change. Because following protocols isn't helping anyone. Cancer is on the rise. Heart disease in women is on the rise. I can tell you why. We're going to talk about why. We're going to talk about how this modern system is not doing anything for us. I should I should say the modern world that we're living in is not helping us. The antiquated system, we need a new approach, and that's what we're doing. So, if you're a woman looking for answers, one of the things that I hear most often from my patients is, I learned more from you in one visit than I have in years. And that's because our time together isn't just about reviewing lab results. It's about listening to your story, identifying the patterns, connecting those clues. The clues give us answers and helping you to understand what's really happening in your body so you can make informed decisions about your health. And together, we use your story, your symptoms, your history, and the appropriate testing to create a plan that fits you, not just your lab report. So again, MarshaJonesNP.com, that's where you found me. And you spell my name, Marcia. Yes, my mother was watching the Brady Bunch when she went into labor. And the funny story is she had a sister named Cindy and she didn't like the name Jan. And she wanted me to be popular when I grew up. So I got the name Marsha. Go ahead, Marsha. I'm used to it. But that is where you can find me. And you're never going to forget that now. And that's where you can book a session with me. You don't have to commit to anything long term. Just let's book a session. Let's talk. Let's see. We can even talk about some of the labs you've had before, the direction that you've went in, not went in. Okay, we'll talk more about that as we progress over the weeks. But now, if you're a provider, okay, here's the exciting stuff I want to tell you. You're tired of feeling like you don't have enough time, you don't have enough resources or enough support to practice the way that you really know that you could. I get it. I've been there. And the truth is, women's health has become incredibly complex. Okay. No single weekend course can prepare you for every complex case you're going to encounter. There are things, we've got gut health, we've got hormone health, we've got mold toxicities, we've got environmental issues. It's a lot. The courses can be a great place to start, but they aren't the finish line. Real confidence is built through continued learning, mentorship, applying concepts thoughtfully, and seeing how they work inside of real patient care situations. So I'm not just academia. I'm practicing it. I'm living it. So then you have the other side of the equation that no one talks enough about when we're looking at building our businesses. No one talks about building a successful practice. So you learn the information, you're trying to put it into play on Monday morning. You're like, crap, they didn't talk about this factor or this or that. And so you're reeling like, I learned as much as I think I did. And you got to go back and do more. And you have nobody to support you. Okay. That's the one aspect. And the other is, like I said, building a practice. How do you create a business that allows you to spend more time with your patients? Because you learned all these great things and you want to know how to incorporate the story, but how do you do that? How do you determine your fees if you're going to start your own practice? How do you market ethically? How do you grow without burning yourself out? Because I hear that also a lot. And I was there once. I truly was. And I've learned how to correct that problem. I've learned how to fix the system by putting systems into place. How do you build a practice that supports both you, your patients, and your family? How do you make it all work without losing yourself in it? Because right now that's what's happening with a lot of providers. It's burnout because you're doing all the things, the insurance companies, the authorizations, the prescriptions, the calls, the patient care, the charting. It's a lot. Those are conversations we need to have. But that's exactly why I created Next Level NP. This is for providers who want practical education in the real world from somebody who's lived it. They want mentorship, they want business guidance and ongoing support, not just another certificate to hang on the wall. So if you're looking for a place to continue your learning, I invite you to join my membership. That's one way. Or if you want that more personalized approach, I also work one-to-one with providers who want to accelerate their clinical confidence, like grow your practice, build a sustainable business. So for all of that, you can find me at nextlevelnp.net or just shoot me an email, marsha@marshajonesnp.com. Simple. Or a direct message, wherever you're hearing this at. I'm available. I'm accessible. But one of the things I have to tell you about, and I promise you I'm not going to do this on every episode of this, but I just have so many things going on right now that I feel like I'm spewing so much at you. And yes, I talk fast. That's just how I am. But one of the things that I'm most excited about offering this year is something that has been on me for quite some time. In all the courses and conferences I have been to over the years, I've realized something. Real transformation doesn't happen in a ballroom with hundreds of other people who are taking notes. It happens in smaller groups around a table, asking questions, working through cases, sharing experiences, connecting, having conversations, and leaving with a plan that you can actually implement. Some of the best experiences I've ever had are in small groups because you find connection with that nurse practitioner sitting beside of you. You share stories, you share frustrations with someone who gets it, who actually gets it, not somebody who is just shoving more information at you. So this fall, I'm going to be hosting the Next Level NP Women's Health Retreat in beautiful Charleston, South Carolina. This isn't just a conference. It's not just another weekend where you're going to leave with a binder that sits on your shelf. This is an immersive experience designed specifically for nurse practitioners who are ready to grow in their clinical knowledge and their confidence and their practice. And you get all of me. You get all of my 30 years, all of my failures, all my successes. Because yes, you don't get through 30 years without having some setbacks, okay? We're going to talk about real clinical cases. We're going to talk about real patients. We're going to talk about real life. We're going to talk about everything that we're experiencing together. So if you've ever thought that I want to do more for my patients, I know there has to be a better way. I want to incorporate hormones or functional medicine, but I don't know where to start. I want to build my own practice. I want more freedom. I want to love healthcare again. Then this is for you. And we're doing it retreat style, okay? We're incorporating relaxed time into this. This isn't just like, I've got 3 days of boom, 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 boom. This is 3 days of being able to relax as we have the conversations. We're going to spend 3 days diving into topics that matter most in women's health. That's hormones, menopause, perimenopause, labs, connecting the dots, recognizing symptom patterns, lifestyle medicine, root cause thinking, current topics that are on the influencer's radar that need to be on your radar for when your patients come in and ask about it. Real patient cases, clinical decision making, building confidence, not just collecting more information. I teach you how to do it in the real world efficiently. But there is more, because one of the biggest gaps for nurse practitioners, as I said, is that we're taught about how to take care of patients, but we're rarely taught how to build a successful practice. So we're also going to work on starting or growing your business if that's what you're interested in. Marketing without being salesy, creating sustainable income, setting your fees, designing a practice that reflects your values, and avoiding burnout while creating the career that you've always envisioned. And even if you don't want to start your own practice, I can teach you how to implement these skills into your traditional job. I got tricks. I got ways. I know how to do this. I've done traditional healthcare all of my life. I know how to have the conversation in that 15-minute visit if I really have to. And because I believe transformation happens through connection, I'm only going to be accepting 6 to 10 tops nurse practitioners for this retreat, because that allows me to spend more time with each provider, because each one of you will leave with a personalized business consultation, a strategic action plan, ongoing support after that as well. So whatever your focus is, whatever your dream is, we're going to talk about it. We're going to do real talk. I'm not going to blow smoke. Okay. I'm going to tell you what it really is like, what is really is possible, and how to do it. I'm going to give you the resources of how to do that, how to make it easy. Let's hit the easy button. Let's not start from scratch. Let's not make this difficult. Trust me, I did all the years of making it difficult. And now I'm cruising into, let's make this easy. So no matter where you are in your journey, whether you're just graduating, feeling stuck in the traditional system, or already have a practice and want to take it to the next level, you'll leave with clarity and a roadmap that's made just for you. So if this is something you're interested in or you've been looking for, I would love to tell you more. There's no hierarchy here. We're all just in the same place trying to take care of women. So that's the way this retreat. We're going to eat together. We're going to cook together. All things are included, okay? The lodging, the food, the relaxation. You worry about nothing except showing up and making your dreams come true. So if you want to know more, leave a comment, send me a message. I'll let you know all the details. And I have a feeling that it's going to fill up pretty quick. So don't wait. If this is something that you're truly interested in, please do not wait. Marsha at marshajonesnp.com. There's information about the retreat at xlevelnp.net. But that is about the retreat that is going on as this podcast is being released. So it's already happening and had been filled quickly for this one. And now we're going into planning the one for the fall. So please message me. But that information is about the July retreat. I believe that when we invest in providers, we improve patient care. I think that I can have a better impact on more women by helping more providers. I can't do this alone. You can't do this alone. Instead of trying to do it uphill by yourself, let's work together. Let's do this together. Because when providers become more confident, women receive better answers. And that's exactly how we begin changing the future of women's healthcare. One provider, one patient, and one conversation at a time. So if you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and most importantly, please share this with another woman who needs to be reminded that she's not alone, whether she's a provider or a patient. And until next time, stay curious, keep asking better questions, and never stop chasing your dreams for you, your patients, or anyone in your circle. This is the future of healthcare. We're here. This is where we belong. This is what we were trained for. Let's do this.